Hi, I'm Debbie with Filmmaker in a Box, and welcome to FIB Online. What you're about to see is an excerpt from Filmmaker in a Box's first intensive case study on the micro-budget feature film 2 Million Stupid Women. Now, don't be frightened by the title. It was actually written by a very smart woman named Amy Heidish and is a very funny and fun film. Some of the points discussed in this excerpt refer specifically to the making of 2 Million Stupid Women, but many of the points are non-specific enough to apply to nearly any production. If you'd like to know more about this intensive case study, and there are over 17 hours more of detailed behind-the-scenes information on all phases of development, production, and post, visit filmmakerinabox.com.
Once we finished shooting, my duties as a cinematographer end, and I go back to being a producer. And the top thing was that I basically was the post-production supervisor as well as the producer. And because I had the facilities, I was the one who was dealing with all of the footage. So I was the one who was transcoding all of the footage, got us our RAID provided by Dolce Systems that we transcoded all of the media to so that we could deliver it to an editor. And that took almost a week of transcoding just to get all the footage in and make sure it's all there, and then another week to pre-organize it for an editor. I basically worked a little bit as an assistant editor to kind of organize clips so that they were in some sort of logic.
I was also the assistant editor. So I got like all the files that were called like K17 million trillion billion 5B76.
So one of the problems of the P2 format is that the files have a completely random number assignment to them. And every time you start and stop the camera, it creates a new clip. And the new clip has a random number letter sequence that identifies it. So one of the rules of thumb that we got, and we got from Hal Long in our Panasonic orientation session before we shot, was that the camera never starts rolling unless you're focused on a slate that identifies the scene and take number. And that way, the thumbnail that's created, automatically created from the first frame of the clip, always has the slate information on it. So it's easy to see what take and identify that shot, because the file naming is completely random and esoteric and incredibly frustrating.
Basically, I just spent 2 or 3 days probably naming everything, and I marked the slate, and then I renamed the file just in Final Cut. And then I went and got the audio and put it in folders, or in the same folder, and then I merged all the stuff together. And then, editing wise, I watched each clip, and I moved the comments panels. There's 3 comments panels in Final Cut, so you move them over so you can see them the best. So what would happen is it'd be a close-up, which would turn into a 2-shot, which would then become a wide, and then for the whole scene. So then, and there were two cameras, so I'd have these 2 different shots, right, of the same action. And so then in the comment field, I'd just write in order all of the shots that happen, so that I'd know, okay, well, it starts out in a close-up, and then it's a 2-shot, and then it's this. You don't write I didn't write the word wide. I just write like WD and CU for like that. So the first would just be a string of abbreviations, and then after that, if there's anything specific in the take, or if like the main emotion of the scene, like if there's like a point that you need to reach that's like this one character does, and then you have to put what character it's on too, right? Like, so OTS, you put OTS on A, and luckily it was like Anna Melissa Todd, so AMT, right? So it'd be OTST. That would mean like it was an over the shoulder of somebody on Todd. And then if there's a specific moment in the scene that you need, you might write something in like Melissa says blah good, like some word, or like line that is really good in that one take, so you can find it again. So you're not like, oh, that's really cool, and then lose it and have to look through all the takes again. And then I also use the color coding thing where like in the script supervisor's notes, Jamie says he likes something, right? It's like his favorite take. And sometimes he has a bunch of them. Sometimes he only has one. But that I always would mark red. That's like, which I just made that up. It's like my color. I'm like, red is Jamie's favorite. And then if I had other favorites that he didn't pick, I would make them yellow, so that if I just really felt like red wasn't working, I'd use mine. But generally I would use red if I like really thought that he was right, you know? But sometimes I wouldn't think he was right, so I would just be like, no, you're wrong. I'd use yellow, and then he'd say, well, let me see red, you know, when he came in, if he didn't like what I did, sort of thing. But yeah, it was just like working with high def was really not that bad, considering my system was old. Nothing huge went wrong, ever. Nothing that wasn't my fault.
For over 17 hours of additional videos and documents on all phases of the making of 2 Million Stupid Women, visit filmmakerinAbox.com. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to FIB Online for more great videos.